Every single one of them now is becoming known. And around the world, princes, ambassadors, even prime ministers are being brought down for their participation in this global sex trafficking ring. And here in America, that needs to happen too. And until it does, we are here to say, we will not stop. To every survivor who has fought so hard, who has shared painful details, who has been re-traumatized by the continued disrespect, dismissal, and exposure of their own personal details, we won't stop until committee, as our Representative Kamlager-Dove, Representative Ballant, where we will have Attorney General Bondi before us. I intend to get real answers on why the DOJ is not pursuing further action, and to get survivors the attention and the answers that they deserve. This is just the beginning of our journey for justice, led by very powerful women who are using their voices and their power to, yes, shake the earth of its depravity and to demand accountability. So thank you for all of it, for inspiring us day after day, year after year, and never backing down. We love you, we appreciate you, and we've got you. It's now my honor to pass it over to Representative Sidney Kamlager-Dove, my colleague on the Judiciary Committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Congresswoman Jayapal. I also want to recognize Congressman James Walkinshaw and Congressman Jamie Raskin, who've also joined us for this press conference. My name is Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager-Dove. I represent Los Angeles, and I want to thank the Democratic Women's Caucus for hosting this press conference and for always centering survivors when talking about the Epstein files. You know, the entire weight of Donald Trump's government is being used against the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators' abuse. The fact that these survivors have not only come forward, but continue to speak out and relive the worst day of their lives every single day is courage. And it's a kind of courage this administration does not have. 80% of sexual assaults go unreported because time and time again our broken justice system protects abusers instead of survivors. When the President and the Attorney General repeatedly shield pedophiles, rapists, traffickers from accountability, they send a chilling message to survivors everywhere and discourage others from coming forward. Let me be clear. We need this administration to care about child sexual assault instead of protecting pedophiles and predators. At 10 a.m., Attorney General Pam Bondi will be testifying in House Judiciary Committee, and we are all going to get in her face and grill her about the reckless and sloppy release of these files. One survivor found her name, her birthday, her address, and phone number, and workplace, all exposed in the files. That puts her at serious risk, and it is a chilling effect for every other survivor. Now it is my honor and privilege to turn it over to a brave and courageous woman, Teresa Helm.
Hi, good morning. Here we are again, and for what it's worth, we're not going anywhere. And
Amen.
While it might seem that we're in the middle of the road of this, actually in many ways this is just beginning. I stand here in support for all of these women here beside me, all of the women across this nation, for my own children, for myself, For every one of you out there in this audience looking at us right now, this is Survivor. This nation is full of survivors. We're going to stand and we're going to fight, and we're not going to stop because that's the right thing to do. We stand here also with the support, and we pray that there's nonpartisan support of Virginia's law that has just been introduced. This is one of the most important monumental steps for survivors, and the world is still watching. No one's turning away from this. It affects every single person here. It affects every single person in this administration. They have wives, daughters, grandchildren. Every single person. This is not an issue that's going away. And we're not going to stop. And I feel that this is a real, today and beyond, a real demonstration of integrity. And as my dad, who was a very, very smart man, used to say to me, Dr. James Helm, the proof is in the pudding. So we're going to find out. Thank you.
First, I want to recognize Representative Nancy Mace standing with us today because, as we have always said, this is a nonpartisan issue. What we know in the sexual violence arena is that there are more sexual abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking victims in the country, in the world, than any other tragedy. And consistently, those victims and survivors are told one of two things: shut up or move on. And as I understand it, when we spent time in Republican Judiciary Committee members' offices, they were very compassionate, passionate, caring about this issue. They support us. They want transparency. They want justice. And what we've heard is that they've been told to shut up today and not do the hard thing of asking questions about the egregious job done by the Department of Justice in the drop of files. And we've heard that the American people have been told to move on. So I'd like to present three options to Republican House Judiciary Committee members. They can either do the bravest thing they have ever done in their career, and they can ask the hard questions. They can do a second thing, which is a really hard thing to do: to refuse to be complicit and resign. Just say, I am making a statement and I'm going to resign from being part of this administration. And they can do a third thing. They can yield 1 minute of their time to Thomas Massie, who happens to be a real bulldog in this issue, and let him speak for them. That way they are able to hold their position of leadership, but make a stand showing their constituents, who are all victims and survivors too, that they believe in us. So today my question is, those on the Judiciary Committee, the Republicans, are you going to have courage or are you going to be complicit? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Laura Bloom McGee. I am a survivor who stands before you to not ask you for pity, but demanding justice. Speaking my truth was born of courage. I stand here for every little boy and girl that is afraid to speak up after the unthinkable. That courage should never cost us our safety, our privacy, or our right to heal. Our current system does the opposite. The people who have harmed us, they are hidden, while survivors have been exposed. Abusers' names and contact information is redacted, while our faces and stories are left on full display. This is not protection. This is betrayal. It hands power back to the abuser and further strips survivors of our dignity. Even worse, leads that can uncover broader wrongdoing are being ignored. Documents that point to co-conspirators are still unexamined. Truth, integrity, and the pursuit of justice should be non-negotiable, and we will no longer negotiate with people or institutions that fail us. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Danny Bensky, and I am an Epstein-Maxwell survivor from 2004 to 2005. The last time I was in DC, I asked everyone to close their eyes and think of a teenager that was close to you. I asked you to make it personal. Thinking of your child, your sibling, your mother, or you even at an early age. I asked you to visualize that teenager at the door of Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, and I asked you if you would let them enter. Well, now I want you to visualize something else. I want you to think of that same 14 to 18-year-old. I want you to imagine that they've since grown up, and one day you find their name and all of their identifying information in the Epstein files alongside intimate, horrific details about their lives, sexual abuse, and trafficking. You look further, and maybe you even find a nude picture. You try to understand who could be responsible for these crimes, or try to find who's responsible for the crimes themselves, only to find that the perpetrators' names have all been redacted. As you read on and take in all the heinous acts, you begin to see how the system repeatedly failed. Realizing that it was hard enough to endure the abuse, you begin to understand the endless re-traumatization. This time, it isn't a monster pedophile who is doing the exploiting, but our very own government. I dare to say that everyone knows a survivor of assault or abuse. My ask is that you keep this personal. We are not here as political figures. We are only human. Our only agenda is accountability. We owe it to our former selves. We owe it to the next generation. And we also owe it to those of the past. We need to believe women who bravely stepped forward like Maria Farmer did in 1996. We need to pass Virginia's law to eliminate the statute of limitations. We need survivors to be taken seriously. There should never be a time limit on justice. And the DOJ needs to do its job. Give us the rest of the files and start the investigations. Start the investigations on the things that are in the files right now. During my time with Jeffrey, I was always amazed that he could make you feel so special, like you were the only one in the room, and then treat you like an absolute piece of trash and throw you away. We will not be silenced and thrown away this time. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Liz Stein. I met Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein in 1994 when I was a senior in college. For us, this is not about politics. This is about people in power and vulnerable girls and young women. A partial release of these files by the DOJ, riddled with improper redactions that expose the vulnerable and shield the powerful from accountability, is not justice. It is injustice. As victims of this crime, and citizens of this country, we will not stand for it, and neither should you. This is no longer about us. This is about survivors of sexual abuse everywhere. They are watching us. And if you think that this does not affect you, 1 in 4 women in our country have been touched by this issue. It affects all of us. We are being watched, not only as survivors, but as advocates for those who cannot use their own voice to speak up. We, as a nation, have an opportunity to send a strong message that we will not protect people who victimize children, that we will stand up for what is right, despite what our politics are, that we will cross the aisle, and that we will stand behind survivors for justice. We keep hearing our press secretary and our Department of Justice and other government officials saying they're moving on from this. I wish that we could. I met Epstein and Maxwell when I was 21 years old. I'm nearly 53 now. We cannot move on as survivors of this crime and as citizens of this nation without changing this narrative. So I ask you all to stand behind us and demand accountability for our government, because we certainly are going to. Amen.
Hello, everyone, and good morning. We are here today asking for basic safety, dignity, respect for survivors and Americans. In recent releases, survivors' names were not properly redacted. The failure has put people in danger, personal information has been exposed, information that can lead to harassment, threats, and retaliation. Some of those impacted are Jane Does who have never broken their silence, who have never chose to be public, and who deserve protection, not exposure. We are still asking a question the public deserves answered. How is the Department of Justice able to carefully redact the names of powerful men, yet fail to protect survivors? We stand here today, united and strong, and we are asking for something simple. Treat us like human beings. We have families, we have lives, we did not cause these crimes, and we should not be the ones paying for the price again. And if more documents are released, we are demanding that the DOJ take the time to do this the right way, fully and respectfully redact survivors' identities and any identity details connected to them. We also need to address the allegations contained in these materials. Every credible allegation must be taken seriously and investigated thoroughly, no matter who the person is, how wealthy they are, or how connected they are. We understand that these are allegations and due process matters, but survivors are human beings who shared something horrific. They deserve to be heard, and they deserve a real investigation, not dismissal, delay, or silence. So everyone watching, stand with survivors, demand accountability, demand transparency, demand investigations that do not protect the powerful while exposing the vulnerable. And those who were involved, those who know what happened, those who enabled it, those who stayed silent, do the right thing. Answer the questions, cooperate, because the survivors are done carrying the burden alone. Moving forward, we, and when I say we, I mean the whole world, expect true transparency and justice for those who have not yet received it. I want to emphasize that after Congress reviewed the unredacted files yesterday and discovered that more powerful individuals were involved, I'm left wondering, why haven't we started an investigation this yet? Other countries have taken action. So why is the United States lagging behind, especially in a nation that prides itself on justice? This is what we believe in. This is what we demand. So the real question here is, when will the Department of Justice start investigation, not only the allegations, but to the powerful men that are running free? Thank you, everyone.
Good morning, everybody. We are here today as survivors and as the families of survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. We are here as the family of Virginia Roberts Giuffre. My name is Sky Roberts, and I am the brother of Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Pam, I have a clear and simple message for you. The way this administration, and you specifically, have handled survivors has been nothing short of a failure. I have a message from Annie Farmer. She's not here today, but I love her to death. Believe that. And she said, Pam, do your job. Do your job, Pam. And I feel that. There are serious questions that demand answers. Why are the perpetrators' names being redacted while survivors' names are left unredacted? We are done with excuses. We are done with delays. No more lies. No more deflection. We want answers, and we want accountability. Virginia was not a headline. She was a daughter, a sister, a mother, and a human being. She carried what was done to her for years and still chose to fight, not just for herself, but for others who were afraid or silenced. And we need to say this plainly. The handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case has been mismanaged again and again across administrations, across agencies, and across years. That failure is not abstract. It has caused real, lasting damage to survivors, and that is not up for debate. We are here to see whether our representatives will stand with survivors, not with excuses, not with delay, not with political convenience. We are here to see whether you will ask the hard questions that have been avoided for far too long. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amanda.
To Ms. Bondi, we are deeply disappointed by the way you and your leadership in this department have treated survivors. And today, while you're being questioned, we ask you to look in the eyes of every single one of us and remember Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who paid the ultimate sacrifice for the trauma that she had endured. We ask you to remember the lives that we have lost during this process. Accountability means real answers, not evasion. It means transparency, not more hiding. And we ask Congress that if Pam Bondi has been found where you have misled or gave false testimony, you must be held to the same standard as everyone else. No title, no power, no connections should change that. And to the American people, take heed. Be mindful of any government or any powerful people who try to tell us that what we lived through is not real, that what happened to us didn't happen, who ask us to doubt what our ears can hear and what our eyes can plainly see. That is how abuse is protected, and that is how it thrives. We are here because survivors have had their lives defined by what powerful people did to them behind closed doors, while institutions have continuously looked away. Today, Congress has a chance to prove that this country is still not looking away. We are not here for theater, and we are not here for talking points. We are here for truth, we are here for justice, we are here for accountability, for Virginia and every survivor. Amen.
Hi, my name is Charlene Rochard, and last year I stood here as a survivor demanding the release of the Epstein files. Today, I stand here again as a citizen demanding accountability now that Congress is questioning Pam Bondi of the Department of Justice about the handling of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Let me be clear. Survivors are furious. We watched the Justice Department botch redactions so badly that victims' images were exposed while predators' identities were kept hidden and protected. That does not feel like an accident or a clerical error. It feels like betrayal. The people who were supposed to protect us instead shielded abusers and re-traumatized survivors. And we're expected to accept that as standard procedure? We do not.